Hello. So I keep trying to film this video, and before I tried filming it like a million times. I'm not sure if that's an exaggeration. And I tried filming it so many times and failing miserably that I ended up running out of battery life on my camera, and I had to recharge the freaking battery, and now I'm back to make another attempt, and hopefully it'll actually happen. Okay, so I had uploaded my Tarte True Blood palette versus Urban Decay 15th anniversary palette video earlier today. I think I said that earlier today. And a bunch of you guys had asked me to do a worth the hype video on the Tarte True Blood palette. So that is what I'm bringing you right now because I listen to you guys and I aim to please. So here is the Tarte True Blood palette in all of its pleathery goodness. We all know about, you know, the packaging. It's got this pseudo corset-tree packaging on the outside. To me, this doesn't look very much like a corset because to me, corsets involve ribbons and not so much these little elastic shoelace type things. So to me, this looks more like a boot. Overall, the packaging really speaks to me because I am a little on the darker side of life, I guess. Not so much with Darth Vader, but I'm talking about a darker side. Then there are the 17 eyeshadows, which are all full size. I'm not 100% sure how much Tarte eyeshadows normally retail for, but I'm assuming that, you know, it's like $15 to $17, maybe $18. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. And wow, that was amazing. Then in here we have a full-size Emphasize eyeliner in black, which is one of the softest eyeliners ever, but please keep in mind that this is not your regular pencil eyeliner. This is more of a gel eyeliner in a stick form. Then there is a primer, a little sample size primer. Oh my god. As you can see, this stuff doesn't really stay in very well. And this is a sample of the Lights Camera Lashes mascara, which is awesome. And I also forgot to mention that this primer is pretty awesome. The packaging overall is your standard palette type of packaging. It's not amazing quality, but it's not cheap quality either. It's not, you know, gonna fall apart. It's pretty sturdy. It is cardboard, but it's sturdy. So one of the complaints that I have heard a lot about with this palette, and it's one of the reasons why I was kind of hesitant to even get it in the first place, is the shadow quality. Let me just point out the fact that these shadows are formulated completely differently than Urban Decay. These are more natural in formulation. They use different ingredients. I don't know how many different ingredients they use. I honestly don't know how the ingredients list compares, but they are different. These are all natural, and therefore I think that they're probably, I don't want to say better for your eyes because they wouldn't make something for your eyes if it was bad for you. I hope not anyway, but you know what I'm saying. So yes, you can expect that the texture and just overall formulation is going to be somewhat different, but I won't say that it's so drastically different that I would call them bad. Certain shadows like this one, which I know has been mentioned quite a few times. This is Dawn. This one is a little more powdery. It's not as, well, it's not really pigmented at all. It is a very light, pearly sort of sheen. I don't think it's really meant to be very pigmented. I mean, maybe I'm wrong in that, but I don't think it really is. Other shadows, such as this black. Honestly, not sure what this is called. It's a pretty pigmented black, but it's not the blackest black ever. But to be completely honest with you, how many very, very, very black eyeshadows do we need in this world? I mean, there's so many black eyeshadows. I personally welcome having different ranges of black. You know, I have so many pigmented blacks. Sometimes you don't want a pigmented black. Sometimes a pigmented black is just scary and you want something a little more toned down. So that's not the end of the world to me either. Also, fallout, that's another thing that people have complained about. There is fallout. I'm not going to lie to you and say that there's no fallout at all. There is, but to me it is comparable to the fallout of some of the Urban Decay eyeshadows that I have tried, so it's not the end of the world again. I think that there is a reason why they included this little primer here, okay? I'm going to demonstrate for you on the back of my left hand. I'm gonna take the True Death, okay, which is probably one of my favorite shadows in this palette. It's just the silver. It's just more of a metallic silver. It's not too glittery or anything. And there it is. On its own, it's pretty pigmented. It's pretty nice. Very pretty. La-di-da. Now we're going to take this primer, which is just your doe foot applicator. Put a little on the back of my hand. Then we're going to take the True Death again. And can you tell the difference between the two? But the primer really, really helps tone down the powderiness. It helps with the pigmentation. So I don't know how that primer works with other eyeshadows, like with Urban Decay or MAC or whatever eyeshadows you're using, but for these shadows in particular, it works really, really well. It is a little more tacky, but I think that that helps, again, with the powderiness, with the fallout, with the pigmentation of some of them. So I mean, I think that kind of speaks for itself. Like I said, so many people complain about the texture and the fallout and just the pigmentation, but there are ways around it. And again, like I said, you can't go into this expecting that it's going to be comparable to something that is formulated completely different. That's just the facts. That being said, I am overall pretty impressed with these. I really, really do like them, especially once you learn how to use them. Okay, so do I think it's worth it? Value-wise, absolutely. $52 for 17 full-size eyeshadows plus some little travel thingies and a full-size eyeliner. I think that's an amazing deal. For True Blood fans, it is worth it. I mean, I think you'd be silly to pass it up. But for those of you who aren't True Blood fans, for those of you who aren't necessarily Tarte fans or not really familiar with their eyeshadows, I would maybe try to swatch it first. I would maybe try to go into a store and feel it out for yourself. I'm personally very, very happy with it, and for me, I think it's absolutely worth it, but I don't think it's worth it for everybody. If you're not willing to try and work your way around the powderiness or the lack of pigmentation, then maybe it's not worth it for you. Maybe you want to skip it, you know? $52 is a lot of money, and that's a lot of money to spend on something you're not going to use. So I'm saying that it is worth it. I will even go ahead and say that I think that it is underhyped, and I think that it was really unfortunate that this came out so close to the Urban Decay 15th anniversary palette, because I think because of that, people like myself were comparing the two, and they really are absolutely nothing alike, and you have to take them both as being their own thing. You know, they're by two different companies who are doing two completely different things, and you can't compare them. I know I did in my last video, but that was more because I know that people are trying to choose between getting this one or that one. So if you guys have any questions or anything that you feel I didn't really touch on, feel free to ask, and let me know if you think it's worth the hype or not. And I will talk to you guys later. Ta-ta!